at 8:30 a.m. for the Career Corner. Your career and personal development are too important to leave it up to chance. That's this and every Monday at 8:30 a.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Fit FM, your life, your music. Struggling to find the right candidate?
It was David Fitter who said,
need to streamline your recruitment process with a simple and user-friendly platform? Introducing Career JA, Jamaica's newest and most cost-effective way to hire fast and hire smart. As an employer, you can advertise your jobs, schedule and track interviews, chat with job seekers to build your employee brand, remove the recruitment hassle, and focus on your core business futures by using Career JA today. Career JA, connection made easy.
And with that, I say good morning to the headhunter, Mr. Fairman. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Hi, good morning, Rodari. Are you hearing me?
All right, hold on. Let me get my headphones on because I realize that you are in fact there, but I'm not hearing you. So go again for me, please.
Good morning.
All right, awesome. Got you.
Awesome. I'm happy to be here. It's a great Monday morning. How have you been doing?
Well, my friend, I've been well rested. I've been out for a few and missed you last week, so we're here this morning.
I tell you, I thought you had moved to Hawaii.
Not yet. Working on it. Got my vision board up and I'm working on it.
Awesome. That's amazing. This morning we'll be looking at answering the difficult interview questions as part of, the process to really help job seekers navigate the job search process. And what I've found is that job seekers are not really measuring where their results are coming from. And I said to a job seeker last week that if you're sending out a number of resumes and you're getting calls, it means that, and when I say call, I mean call for interviews. It means that the resume is working, but after the interview, if you're not getting the callbacks, so if you're not getting the job offers, it means then that you really have to look at how you are navigating the interview, because that might be the issue and not necessarily the resume. And vice versa, if you're sending out a lot of resumes and you're not getting any response, it means then that your focus needs to be on the actual resume. So we're just going to dissect, we're going to deconstruct a few of the questions. And with your help, I'm pretty sure we could navigate them.
I'm going to do my best, sir.
Okay, good. So again, for the listeners, if you have any questions as it relates to interview questions, then you can definitely shoot them. We could get them answered. But this morning, the first question that I would like to look at is actually the "tell me about yourself" question.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this one is very popular, and recruiters tend to start off with this question so as to get you in the mood. You might be nervous, you might be jittery, etc. So they would almost always use this question to kind of relax you, but it is also not a question for you to pay less of attention to. It's very important. And in essence, the recruiter is asking, who are you? Why are you here? And how can you help us, so to speak? So what you want to do is to craft your answer with that frame of mind. So you tell them not about the 5 donkeys that you have and the fact that you like to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to run and to do anything. You want to tell them a little bit about your qualifications, your experience, why you chose this particular field, and why you are the candidate that they need to be talking to. So that's what you want to do. Scrap the I've heard this a lot of times, not from mature and experienced job seekers, but those who are leaving high school, university. They always say that they are a perfectionist. And I mean, I'm not a perfectionist. And I don't want to be one. So scrap that. Tell them really about your genuine likes and dislikes. Give them an idea in terms of who you are, so to speak. And I'm trying my best not to put words into people's mouth, because you want them to think on their own. I could give you examples as it relates to how to answer this question, but it's about you showing up very authentic, very true, and digging deep and coming up with your own answers, if that makes sense. How would you answer this question, Rodari?
I was thinking about it. If I were asked, I would say something like, well, I integrate well with teams. I'm the type of person that look for root cause when we are problem solving. I've had so many years of owning my soft skills. I enjoy interacting with different people. I enjoy a challenge. And something like that. Depending on the job that I'm looking at, then I would, try to tailor it to include some facet of that particular role that I'm applying for.
Absolutely. And what's also very important, Radar, is the fact that we must always show than tell. In the interview, we tend to stay on the tell side. So we tell them that we are great. We tell them that we're going to do an excellent job. We tell them that we've done an excellent job. But what we want to do is to show. So, in my past role as a marketing manager, I led a team of 5 people to achieving targets of over 25%. I have been rewarded, So what you are doing, you're not telling them that you were successful, you're showing them. And so, and you're pulling up records as well. So if they want to refer back to it, if they want to call your previous manager, they would have that as a reference. I like that. Thank you. Awesome. So that's the first question. One of the next questions that I find people tend to ask is the fact that you need to describe a project or situation that you experienced and how you handled it, a difficult one. And I particularly ask this question because I'm looking for grit, so to speak. I'm looking for how you will navigate the dark times, the ballads of Birmingham. And to be quite frank, I asked this question 2 weeks ago. In fact, not 2 weeks ago, last week. I was interviewing some candidates, and I asked this candidate that very same question, and she nailed it. While the interview is not about emotions, you would find that those who probably pull through are those who resonated and those who connected well with the interviewer, and somehow convinced the interviewer that what they are saying is genuine. And so when I asked her this question, she pulled on the fact that it's been a really difficult year and time for her. She dropped out of school, she had health issues and so many things. But while I wasn't looking at that, because hey, we all go through that, she spoke strongly about how she navigated that and how it really changed her approach, and she came out a bit stronger than most of the candidates. So we must pay attention to that. Some of the questions will catch you off guard, but it's important that you say to the interviewer, give me 15 seconds, give me 10 seconds to think about this question so I can answer it properly. Do you agree?
I do agree. I do agree. And as you put me on the spot, I had to just, take a breath and then deliver.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about that. You have to do that. And even while you're delivering, you're being caught off guard. It's important that you still remain poised, you still be confident, and the inflection of your voice shouldn't dwindle, because for many of us, confidence is in the voice. So if you speak softly and too low, people will interpret that you lack confidence. And if you pronounce your words clearly, and if you talk a certain way, people believe that you're well educated and you've been to Harvard and you've done all of these things, right? Which is not necessarily the case, but it's just a human psychology. And so we have to learn how to navigate those elements as well. So do you have any, before I move on to my question, the other questions that I have you come across any interview question or questions that you thought were very, very difficult for you to answer? And in the interview, you had to scratch your head?
I have not come across them personally, but it's as though you are looking at my screens because I have two for you. How to answer, why do you want this job? And the second question is, how honest should you be when asked, what are your weaknesses?
Okay, interesting question. So the first one is, why do you want this job? Which is very similar to probably why should we hire you, so to speak. And last week I was in a conversation in a live, and we were discussing the idea that if a employer asks the question of why should we hire you, you shouldn't respond by saying, well, don't hire me and you will see. And so we've had a lot of people, job seekers, they are from all planets, right? But
I wouldn't have, if you allow me, I wouldn't have quite said it like that. If I were ever to be cheeky, I would probably say, if you don't hire me, your competition will, and we will soar past you.
well, that's a better one. It sounds a lot better than mine. But why do you want this job? You can be tricked by this question, because it seems that the recruiter is saying, this is all about you. This is all about what you want, right? But really, don't be fooled by the question. The interview is not about what you want. Because in fact, they really know what you want. They really know that you need a job, and at the back end of the job is salaries, money. So they do know that, and there are other things too. So what you really want to do, Radar, is to talk about again why you are the ideal fit for the role. And going back to the initial example that I gave, you want to say to the interviewer, after doing a research, I realize that you've been struggling to hit your sales target for the last 6 months by 15%, 20%. I've also realized that there were some clients in a particular region, or potential clients that you could target. I also applied for this role because I believe that I have those particular skill sets to ensure that you hit that target that you're looking for. So I would like to bring that to this particular organization, and in return, I would want to be compensated. So what you're basically doing, you're putting in front of them the solutions that you're bringing to the table, but you're not leaving yourself out. Even though this question is all not about you, you
Yes.
don't want to be tricked. So you want to answer in the middle. So if it goes either way, you answer the question both ways. So you're telling them about what you can bring, and then you're at the tail end, you are actually telling them what you want, but you're not overpowering that. Make
Understood.
sense?
Yes.
Good. Yes, and that's a question that we really, really must pay attention to. This question also, Radar, is very important. How do you handle stress and pressure? And surprisingly, all the interviewees, not the interviews, everybody works well under pressure and stress. I don't understand it. Everybody that you get in the interview, when you ask them that, or even in their cover letter, everybody says, I work well under stress and I work well under pressure. I guess I'm the only one that doesn't.
No, because
Um,
I like to plan ahead. I like to try to make sure that I'm not stressed.
Absolutely. So a lot of job seekers believe that they must not show up authentically. And if they do that, it's going to be a red flag. So if they answer this question to say that I do not work well under pressure and I do not work well when I'm stressed, it will be a negative on their part. But it's actually not true. Again, you want to show up very truthfully, you want to show up genuine. And though you're saying that you don't work well under stress, what you want to echo very strongly is what you do to ensure that you are not stressed. And if you are, because sometimes things don't go as planned.
Yes.
So if you plan and then the environment still becomes stressful and pressuring, what then? You must come back by saying you know where to go for help. You know where your strengths, where your support lies,
Your
right?
resources.
Exactly, and the resources. So this is what you want to say in that question, and don't lie and say that you work well under pressure and under stress. Yeah, if you don't do, because I mean, if it's a high pressured environment, you're going to be tested. So be mindful of that. Okay, so move on to your next question.
Well, it kind of dovetails into what you just dealt with, because the second question was, what are your weaknesses? How
Oh,
honest should you
okay.
be when asked that question?
Okay. You need to be really, really truthful. What the interviewer hates is a liar, right? And I mean, no liar after being revealed will be given an opportunity to work for the company. Whether it's a white lie, a blue one, or a black one, they will just cross you out of the book. So it's about being truthful. If you have a weakness, and it relates to the job, then talk about what you are doing to overcome that weakness. Don't say, "Oh, I can't say no." Everybody say, "I have a difficult time telling my coworkers no." I mean, come on. Listen, I'm just sick of those answers. I don't have a problem telling people no. In fact, a couple days ago, somebody called me, wanted me to ask me for a favor. I said no. And the person started laughing based on how I said the no, but the no was a no, and it was a genuine no. So say no. But going back to the question, if you talk about your weakness, and sometimes people will say that you don't, some will say they don't have a weakness. I think we all have a weakness. It might not be a great of a challenge, but there must be an area that you can work on and improve. Did I
Well, after
answer that?
many years, I recognize my weakness. I hate documentation. But the solution for that was to build templates. And so I just had to plug in routine information and not have to do over a full document each time I have to submit a report.
Absolutely. Yes, and that's good. That's an excellent way of answering that question. Some interviews would say that To dodge this question, you would give us a weakness that has nothing to do with the job. So if you're applying for an accounting role and they ask you what weaknesses do you have, you would say, well, one of my weaknesses is actually not being able to cook, right? So so you are given a weakness, but it has nothing to do with the job. You're technically answering the question. And so if the recruiter, an interviewer, is not skilled enough and is not on the ball, they'll take that as an answer and they will move on, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's about showing up genuinely. All right, so let's move on now to another question. Let's look at, why do you want to leave your current job, or why did you leave? So,
Oh, that's easy.
yes. Oh,
I've
okay. So how would you answer this
I
one?
feel as though I have outgrown that space. It is no longer challenging, and I am looking for a greater challenge somewhere where I have matured beyond that post, and there is no further upward mobility, and so I have to look outside the organization.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that. But can I be a little bit difficult with you?
Of course.
That's an answer that we get all the time. we get that all the time, all the time. Maybe not with the exact same words as how you've said it in the exact same sentence, but in essence, it is what that's the answer that we
But
get.
I can't. But Andrew, I can't tell you that I no longer like my boss and we don't get along, and so I have to run away. I can't tell you that.
Exactly, exactly. You can't say that, right? But what you can say, because what we tend to get with this question is career growth. We need more challenge,
Yes.
etc. And so you might be able to say those same thing, but make it sound different. Allow it to sound brand new, like you're the only one that has answered this question this particular way. Because if you don't do that, the interviewer will think that you are just the same like everybody else, and you may not show up as genuine. That's why your answers must be different from everybody else. Because if everybody goes in there with the same answer, albeit different words, it makes it much difficult. But if you stand out, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to remember you. And what job seekers tend not to do throughout the interview, Rodari, is asking for clarification. So I would actually say to all the interviewees, for every question that you answer, ask the interviewer, did I make sense? Did I answer the question correctly? Do you need me to clarify? Which part of my answer did you not understand? And I do that for every interview that I go in. I do that. And I look for nonverbals. And most of the interviewers, they're not prepared for this question. And I remembered my last interview that I did. I asked I asked another question and I caught the interviewer off guard, and they gave me the answer that I was looking for. And then she said to me, "Oh boy, now I'm actually answering without even thinking about the question that you asked me." And she gave me the answer that I was looking for. Right. So, and most of them will be very straightforward with you. I've been in interviews where they said, "You know what, you really didn't answer this part. I'm still confused about this part here." You know, and they will allow you to rephrase. So
Okay.
ask that as well. Yeah. And finally, what questions do you have for me? That question, the interview always asks that question. How would you answer that one? What questions do you have for me?
Well, we you and I have glanced over that, and so it would be very direct about the organization. And again, as you just said, we'd be recapping. So, of course, at that point, you would see clarity on anything that was probably a little ambiguous, anything that you're not sure about. You would be looking at the organization and probably asking something to the effect of, have I hit the points? Would you be looking at is there any other area that we can discuss? Stuff like that.
Absolutely, absolutely, Rodari. You hit the nail on the head. So basically, you want to ask the interviewer, having completed this discussion, how do I, as a candidate, match up to your ideal candidate? What part of my skill sets or experience you're having challenges with, and what are the areas that stood out most to you? And that is a killer question.
Yeah.
And so if the interview is really genuine, they're going to tell you, right? This is also putting them on the spot, and they're going to fumble, because if they weren't really invested and paying attention to what you're saying and whether or not you are the ideal candidate or not, then they might just talk gibberish, right? So it's important that you do that. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Talking Talent. Well, not Talking Talent. That's a different program that I have. Let me promote Talking Talent. Let me promote Talking Talent, by the way. Shameless plug. Maybe not shameless. Catch us every Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, 6:30. And we talk about all things recruitment, all things career. And Wednesday, we have Marshall Morris from Vistaprint, who is the lead employee relations at Vistaprint. And she'll be talking about the rights of an employee. So if you've been made redundant and you need to know, get some question answered, you can tune in. Then I need to also promote or Higher Right Summit, and let me know if I'm going over time. We need to promote our Higher Right Summit. This is a massive event that we have coming up. It's for recruiters or small business owners. If you need to know how to recruit, we have three main speakers: one from Canada, one from US, and one from Jamaica, all in their respective field. We have a heavyweight, which is Kerry-Ann Stimson from JMMB. She's actually the group chief marketing officer. And then we have Dean Del Peach out of Canada. He is the director for strategy. And then we have Margaret Spence out of the United States, and she is the CEO of C. Douglas and Associates. So we're looking at developing a strategy for recruitment. We're looking at performance-based hiring, and we are looking at employer branding to attract top talent. Okay,
so stay that tuned. Is geared towards the employers.
Yes, if any employers are out there struggling to attract the right candidate, you need to realign your recruitment function or re-strategize. Then this event is for you. It's going to be on the 16th of April. From 8:30 in the morning to about 12:30 in the afternoon. And we are planning a massive job fair again. This will be, you have to be registered though. It's not going to be live. Have to be registered. And we're going to be giving access to a certain amount of job seekers. So we're in the initial stage of planning that. We have employers already signed up. That's it for me, Rodari.
Awesome. Always a pleasure talking to you. Very informative conversation this morning, answering the difficult interview questions. And you have ace recruiter, Mr. Andrew Fairman, giving you the answers this morning. Andrew, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you very much, Rodari. Have a good one. Be blessed.
Take care. That was the Headhunter Inside the Career Corner, brought to you with the kind community sponsorship of Talentbox Jamaica Limited. And as you heard from Mr. Fairman, a massive job fair is being planned, so stay tuned for that. We hit the break. We come back with more. Well, actually, we come back with Monday Math Trivia right after this. All right. So stick and stay right here, Fit FM 96.7.
Struggling to find the right candidate? Need to streamline your recruitment process with a simple and user-friendly platform? Introducing Career JA, Jamaica's newest and most cost-effective way to hire fast and hire smart.